WCW Monday Nitro number 249. Also, June 26th of the year 2000.
It's one of those things where, like, as we watch it now, every week it's like, oh, there's something new.
There is.
Oh, Lance Storm debuted this week. Oh, Tank Abbott's part of 3 Count. Like, every week there's something new.
Yes.
Like, about, I don't know, 6 months ago, we were running down all of the different things that were going to happen in WCW between now and the company going under. And it was only like a year.
Yeah.
It's like, holy fuck, there's like 9 million things. Well, that's because 8 of them happen on every fucking show.
That's exactly right.
For 40 weeks.
Yes. So, we get our Thunder recap video. Brace yourselves.
I can't believe you write this shit down. It's inconceivable.
Well, I write it down to point out how convoluted and incomprehensible it is.
I see.
Rick Steiner dumps Tank Abbott. Vampiro has kidnapped Asia and is torturing Dale. Vampiro has kidnapped Asia and is torturing Dale. David Flair is leading Daphne along. Tank is marking up for 3 count. Goldberg just wants to kill people. He doesn't like Nash's games or attitude, which how is he a heel? I don't know. The Cat books Mike Awesome and Jeff Jarrett versus Kevin Nash and Scott Steiner. We never see a clip of that match. We do see a clip of the Nitro from before that, and that's it.
Yeah, that was weird. Why do we have that random clip?
That was insane. The limo driver arrives with the Cat. The limo driver, we have not mentioned this, it's Ice Train with a new name. He's Smooth. And Smooth convinces the Cat to make a main event, and the Cat's very happy and says they're going to be rich.
They're going to be rich.
Ratings equal money, the Cat says.
Yeah. You know what equals money in the year 1999 and 2000?
Pay-per-view boss?
Money.
Oh.
Ah.
They weren't making any.
Oh.
Yeah. Ratings didn't mean jack shit back then.
So Cat comes out for a promo. First, he promises that Jarrett will defend his belt against Old Man Hogan at Bash at the Beach. And I thought, Old Man Hogan would be a great name for a wrestler. Here comes Old Man Hogan and beat some ass.
Paisley always has to go to Old McDonald's.
Sure. So Goldberg's going to wipe the mat with Nash. For tonight, keep in mind he already plugged a Jeff Jarrett world title defense at Bash at the Beach. A 4-corner world title match will main event this show. Jarrett will be one of the 4. The other 3 spots will be filled by qualifiers. First, Kevin Nash versus Mike Awesome. Second, Scott Steiner versus Shane Douglas. And for the fourth spot, Goldberg will get a bye. At this point, out comes the most unexpected hero I think I've ever seen. The hero of 2000, Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Still got his janitor's gear on.
Still got his beard and his board and his voice, and he's still Hacksaw.
By the way, how did you get all that out of that Shat promo?
I paid very close attention.
I tried, and he mumbled his way through this entire fucking thing.
There was a point where I wrote down, we'll get to it at the end here, I wrote down what he said, and like 5 times I couldn't understand it, and then as I wrote, I could kind of hear it phonetically what he was trying to say.
I wrote, he signs Nash versus Mike Awesome, I think. Steiner versus franchise, I think. Goldberg gets a bye. Is it that hard to do a 30-second fucking Goldberg squash for the people? I realize he's a heel, but Jesus Christ. And I don't even know who the 4th person was supposed to be. I guess it was Jarrett, right?
Jarrett was put into the match.
Yeah.
Then out comes Hacksaw.
Who cuts the most amazing babyface promo.
Yes.
Dude. I said 95% because I didn't want to have that much wrath from these WWE wackos. But this was a better promo than anybody's cut in the year 2019 in WWE.
I would think so.
He was the most fucking incredible, sympathetic, amazing
courageous,
babyface.
Heroic, admirable, likable.
It was incredible.
I was moved.
He is sick of what Cat, Russo, and Bischoff have done to the WCW. They can't play with people like they're pawns, like their lives don't matter. He admits the good guys have taken a beating. Hogan and Sting are hurt. Flair's retired. But others will step forward. Hacksaw will step forward. Asks what they've done to Bill Goldberg. Used to be a big fan of Bill Goldberg, but now he's half the man he used to be. At which point the Cat said, if Goldberg is half the man, that means he have to ass. And I'm going to see if you can whip it tonight. And I listened to that like 10 times trying to translate it. I eventually figured out it meant, if Goldberg is half the man, that means he has half the ass.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Because what I heard was, he have to ass.
He have to ass.
He have to ass.
He have to ass.
Yes.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to figure that out. Duggan says, I've had my health problems, but a man's got to do what a man's got to do, and by God, you've got me in Goldberg. Hacksaw Duggan was interstellar here.
He was the best.
He was unbelievable.
It's so sad that he was so old. It's so sad that he's so old now.
That's true.
If a guy like this came along now, he may as well just be the guy in WWE. I've never seen a babyface like this.
Actually, a great point.
He was the best babyface of all time on this show.
So the announcers are rambling about whatever, and suddenly they cut backstage to Vampiro, who appears to be hotboxing, as best I can tell.
Dude, he was like Shane McMahon. He was gasping for air as he did a promo backstage.
Well, there was all this smog and smoke around him. He was probably in a fog machine, which isn't fun.
He's telling Dale to embrace...
Dale Torborg.
Yeah.
That's the demon.
Yeah.
What did he call him last week?
Dale Torborg.
Very, very hard R's.
Dale Torborg. He's Canadian.
He wants how Vampiro... Oh, he's Canadian, right. Vampiro wants it to be 3 men. Him, Dale, and the demon. And only one will walk out.
Right.
Does he know how this works?
I don't know. Do I know how it works? I don't know what's going on anymore.
He wants Dale and the demon?
He wants to bring the demon out of Dale.
So he wants the demon.
So Dale and Asia are watching this on a monitor, and Dale promises he's going to end this.
So I watched this back multiple times to make sure that I...
Why?
No, not this. This next segment.
Oh, okay.
Shane Douglas shows up.
Yes.
And there's a ref there. Hey, how you doing, brother? Is that the mattress tonight? And he looks at the match and he goes, Scott Steiner? What the fuck? And he storms off.
Yes.
He got what the fuck on TV.
Yes.
I mean, quite frankly, if I saw the lineup and it was me and Scott Steiner, I'd probably say what the fuck too. But
it's fair.
I think he thought he'd be more away from... Because he started to walk away as he said it. And I think he thought he'd be off mic by the time he got to fuck.
Well, he was right on mic.
No.
He walked right into that. He ate the microphone as he said fuck.
So
he deep-throated it.
Excuse me?
You heard me.
Okay.
Positively Canyon is doing a book signing and nobody is there.
Oh, my nightmare.
And he is sad, and he can't even give the books away to the security guys.
But luckily, I've got a plan.
This annoyed me at first, and then I realized kind of what happened. Because, like, I couldn't figure out if he was supposed to be, like, an actual bookseller or what, but the idea is he's so arrogant, he booked his own book signing and told WCW to bring cameras. And then, like a fool, nobody showed up, but the cameras were already there. So, okay, that makes sense. Rey Mysterio and Juventud Guerrero are facing the debuting team of Mark Jindrak and Sean O'Hare.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So, Conan and Disco do a promo, and they bury Jindrak and O'Hare, and you look at them, and they're tall, generic-looking dudes with good bodies, and the first thing I wrote was, nobody ever learns in pro wrestling. Then, they had a match, and granted, it was with Ray and Hoovy, but fuck, this was fine.
Yep.
It was good.
They look good, and I did like Sean O'Hare was a totally crazy dude.
Yeah.
He gave the most polite and gentle tag to his partner I've ever seen in pro wrestling.
I admire that.
Even Buddy would have told him to stiffen up. Ray and Hoovy do their best, and Jindrak and O'Hare got the pin. And even in June of 2000, when they have ruined this goddamn company, and they are less than a year away from going out of business, this still fucking meant something to these fans.
Yes.
And they went crazy for the upset.
It was two completely out of nowhere, bland, but still at the same time very impressive men. They looked 9 feet tall next to Ray and Hoovy. They're huge and ripped. They're obviously very athletic, both of them. And they won with Jindrak hit a tilt-a-whirl, I believe. And O'Hare hit the senton, and they got the pin, and place went crazy. Mm-hmm. And the Animals attacked, and Lance Storm made the save. Now,
not quite as impressive as last week.
Well, first of all, last week he made the save in Tommy Hilfiger jeans, and I believe he said Shane Douglas' sweatshirt, or Chris Daniels, somebody.
Yes, Chris Daniels.
Chris Daniels. I don't know who he got these brown sweats from, but I hope he gave them back right away.
I just noticed that, last week he was running wild on the Young Dragons in 3-count, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
This time it was like Conan and guys. And I'm not sure who it was, but somebody crowded him on a super kick, and it was not a great super kick.
Yeah.
But he leaped and he dived and ran out through the crowd, and the people were into it. And it took me a long time to figure out who the fuck the filthy animals were chasing afterwards, but they were chasing Lance.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, I got it.
So this is all fine and dandy. Goldberg arrives at the building. The filthy animals bitch to Cat. And I wrote here, I think the Cat sends them to get Lance.
That's what I wrote.
Yeah.
Shat wants someone's ass. Which I can't believe I just said, by the way.
Okay.
It's not wrong. Hacksaw Duggan met with a woman with giant white hair.
This was his wife.
Turns out
his legit wife.
Mrs. Hacksaw.
She was fucking great.
I thought it was Ricky Morton at first. I'm not going to lie.
She's crying. What about our girls? You can't wrestle Goldberg. Says sometimes a man has to do what a man has to do. I love you. I love the children more than life itself, but I have to do this.
You got to understand this. They're alone backstage in the locker room.
Yes.
And when they start this thing, Hacksaw's laced up his boots. He's got glasses on. He at this point, he's not Hacksaw. He's James Duggan.
Yeah.
And when his wife comes in, who has been with him through all the ups and downs and the health problems and everything.
Bad haircuts.
A lot of those too.
Would you shut up? His poor wife.
Sorry.
I'll tell you Hacksaw.
Both.
He pulls her close, Hacksaw does. And they go forehead to forehead. And he's whispering to her, I love you. And I love our girls more than life itself. This is something I got to do. And I think I might win. The best. He's a hero. He's such a great hero on the show.
He is. He's the best.
Vito calls himself the greatest hardcore champion in WCW history.
That ever lived.
Which is a great line, because it's been like 2 months they've had this belt. Issues an open challenge, which is then answered by 3 men.
Yes.
The Young Dragons come out.
Yes.
It takes them a while, but they beat Vito up. There is no referee, so they count their own pin, and the announcers start to go crazy. This is a big win and a major upset. Okay, it's not a big win.
No.
There's 3 of them, and one of him.
Not only that, you issued an open challenge, but the title wasn't on the line, and there was no referee.
A non-title open challenge.
What in the fuck was this?
I don't know.
You know what it was? It was bullshit.
It was a lot of
bullshit. The show sucks.
This does not make me like Big Vito or the Young Dragons anymore. I'll just read what I wrote here. Terry Funk coaches Johnny the Bull by hitting him with a chair.
I wrote, Terry Funk is trying to get Johnny the Bull smartened up. This involves him hitting him with chairs.
I don't know if Terry Funk has ever actually trained anyone, but I bet he would hit them with a chair.
Yeah.
Probably part of it. I will read my notes again.
Okay. Oh, God.
Here's a guy in the truck wearing an elephant hat. Stasiak and Palumbo kick him out.
As they should.
Okay. Douglas wants to get out of there. He goes up to Smooth. Smooth, he says, get me out of here. Smooth says, you can't go. You got a title shot tonight.
No. That's not what happened. He says, I don't want this match with Scott Steiner. I need to get out of here. Because M.I. Smooth is a limo driver. So he wants Smooth to just drive him away from Nitro to flee. What M.I. Smooth says is, if you leave, they'll fire you.
Did say that.
There's a pause and Shane goes, you're right. Smooth says, but I've got a plan.
Yeah.
I got an idea.
Whispers. He whispers the plan. Keep in mind, Shane Douglas tried to quit like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Now he's concerned he might get fired.
Wow.
There was a point here before that part, though, Brian, where first Smooth tried to persuade him to stay by saying he had a title shot, and Shane says, oh, I'll have lots of title shots.
Yes. I got many title shots on the horizon.
Yes.
Filthy Animals are looking for someone, I wrote. I still couldn't figure out who they were fucking looking for.
They're looking for Lance. Disco explained, and Lance, I hope you're listening. Disco Inferno said that we know he's stupid because he's Canadian.
Yeah,
I should have figured it out from that line.
Yeah.
They were playing Scooby and Shaggy right here. They were searching for Mr. Storm.
Yeah, but everyone was Scooby.
Carry on.
All right, so
Shane-
this segment here, let me explain this to everybody.
Right.
Douglas is backstage. He's pretending he twisted his ankle. Shat comes up. He doesn't care. He says, I need you to work. Shane says, what about Buff Bagwell? There's a pause, and Shat says, I got a better idea. What about Buff Bagwell versus Steiner? They're spoofing Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Got to convince Vince that he thought
It's his idea, yeah.
Yes.
So, yes, Kat says, I'll take Buff as your replacement, and franchise is happy, and he pays off Smooth with a shiny $100 bill. Tank is screaming at people backstage to get out of his way so we can watch on the monitor. This leads to 3 count coming out and dancing.
Okay, so after all this fucking time, they finally are using their music here on the show.
I think they introduced it here. I think they talked about them having a new song.
Ah, so this one's okay to use.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
So 3 counts dancing, Tank is dancing, but then the music starts to get screwed up. It's slowing down, it's speeding up, it's all wacky.
So you're telling me that Stasiak and Palumbo came to Nitro and they had a plan,
Yeah.
and that was to mess up the performance of 3 count?
I'm not sure they had a plan because they said, "What do these buttons do?" Let's start here.
I see.
Their plan was to screw up Nitro.
Why was that their plan?
I don't know.
Okay.
Why do Stasiak and Palumbo do anything?
Well, they're the champions.
Why?
I don't know either. You got me.
So, as the announcers called him, Woody the Stooge, who was the guy in the elephant hat earlier, he goes to Tank and does in fact stooge off Palumbo and O'Hare. So Tank Abbott, who is one man, goes in this truck and grabs Palumbo and Stasiak, who are two men, grabs them by like the nose and the hair, and yanks them both outside. And they're two men and the tag champs, and they just get dragged out there. He drags them all the way down to the ring. Now, we go back to the ring. 3 Count's still trying to dance. Their music is still getting fucked up, even though Palumbo and Stasiak are no longer messing with it. This makes no sense. They can't even do the stupid thing right. Tank Abbott then announces that Chuck Palumbo and Sean Stasiak, the World Tag Team Champions, will defend their belts right now against 3 Count, and the match begins. And the announcers are like, fucking Tank Abbott can make matches? Apparently Tank Abbott can make matches. So it's 3 Count versus the Perfect Event. And it's fine, but nobody cares. Maybe because all 5 of these guys are treated like complete geeks every single week in the show. A direct line from the commentators is talking about Stasiak and Palumbo. They only have like 1 or 2 wins in their title defenses. So 3 Count has the win at one point, but Palumbo hits Helms with the Lex Flexor, and they hit a double flapjack, and they get the win. So now they have 2 or 3 wins as tag champions. Chronic comes out, destroys the Perfect Event. 3 Count starts to dance again. Chronic kills them too, or they go to, but then Tank Abbott kills them instead. So Tank Abbott single-handedly beat up the World Tag Team Champions and Chronic here.
Fuck. It's a bad dude.
Juventud Guerrera is backstage hunting for Lance Storm, shouting, and this is a quote, "I'm gonna hit you." Irony of ironies, somebody hits him instead. We see a weapon hit him. I don't see where it came from, who it was.
Fuck, I finally figured it out here because I said, I guess Lance Storm. And then I finally figured it out, and by the end of the show, I was wrong.
You were wrong.
Fuck this show. By the way, I didn't mention this. I was busy. But after the Vito versus Jamie-san match, okay? Yeah, I'm going way back.
Uh-huh.
There was a Terry Funk segment with Johnny the Bull.
Right.
Palumbo and Stasiak invaded the truck. Shane Douglas complained to M.I. Smooth. Filthy Animals were looking for someone. Douglas was backstage pretending he had a twisted ankle. Tank was walking backstage. And then 3 Count was doing their dance in the ring. There were 7 non-wrestling segments in a fucking row.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Bullshit.
I know.
God damn it, that was annoying.
And frankly, if you want to get technical about it, the Vito Young Dragon
wasn't even a match.
Was not actually a match.
Yeah, but at least there was action going on in the ring.
There was action in the ring. Hacksaw is now fired up for his match. He's backstage.
His wife is tears flowing like rain.
But Hacksaw is raring to go. I can beat him, he shouts. I can beat him.
Just walks off on her, leaving her in a puddle of her own tears. He's got a job to do.
A man's got to do what a man's got to do. Goldberg goes for a walk. Canyon now has a long line at his book signing, and it turns out that he is giving away free drink vouchers to people in line.
Write that down, Rob.
We have a Hacksaw video package
Yes, Rob.
recapping.
I was going to ask, is that your plan for your book signing?
No shit, that's my plan. Are you kidding me? Pay attention, dude. How are you doing this job paying attention like that?
Nothing gets by you, Rob.
Well, he thought maybe when I nodded him, it was just I'd give him a free drink if he came to my book signing. That's for everybody. You got it. All right, where were we?
Hacksaw.
This awesome Hacksaw video package?
Yes, recapping his cancer announcement and triumphant return.
It's excellent.
And then the most pleasantly surprising great match in all of 2000.
Absolutely.
Maybe the best thing on all of Nitro in 2000. Hacksaw Jim Duggan versus Goldberg.
Dude.
Now, I've seen a lot of Hacksaw Duggan matches. I have not seen very much of his Mid-South stuff, which is apparently his best work. But I've seen like pretty much every high-profile match he had in the World Wrestling Federation or World Championship Wrestling. And I was never very impressed. He was a goofy guy who came with a 2x4 and said ho and chanted USA. He's my dad's favorite wrestler.
He had a great match with Shawn Michaels on Raw.
Okay, all right.
All right.
I have that easily believable.
Yes, like 95.
Yeah. All that said, This is like the best Hacksaw Duggan match I ever saw.
Absolutely.
With a heel Goldberg.
The heel Goldberg.
It worked.
So they go nose to nose. First of all, Hacksaw is like a giant. Like when I loaded up the preview for Nitro, the preview shot was them going nose to nose. I looked at it and thought, why is Goldberg going nose to nose with the giant?
Why is Hacksaw standing on a box?
Well, yeah. So Hacksaw, beyond having the same beard and hairstyle as the giant, his head may be as big as the giant's. His head is massive.
He's a big, raw-boned,
he is-
ham-fisted motherfucker.
He is a big drink of water. And they go nose to nose, and they're growling and snarling, and they start to brawl. It's so great.
Place goes
so
fucking crazy.
Unbelievably great.
They are going crazy for Jim Duggan
in 2000!
beating up fucking Goldberg.
Yes.
And he pounds him and he pounds him.
They're trading punches at first. His fried talk.
No, here's the spot.
Yeah.
They're pounding on each other, and Hacksaw is beating the shit out of him against the ropes.
Yeah.
And the referee's like, you've got to back off. You're in the ropes. And as he backs Hacksaw off, Goldberg launches forward and hits him with a lariat.
Yes.
I was like, this is fucking perfect.
This is unbelievably great.
They brawl outside. Goldberg posts him, and then he targets the kidneys.
He works... No, kidney.
The kidney, the one kidney
He works,
left.
or is not kidney. I'm not even sure.
Yeah.
But he punched him where the kidney's supposed to be. But
It
one's
was
been
definitely
removed
the kidney, because he was bleeding later from the mouth.
due to that damned cancer.
Yes.
Kidney's gone. So now Duggan's in big trouble. He's been punched in his kidney. And so Goldberg applies a neck vice. Now, for those of you who don't know what that is, you sit the guy down, you have his chin in one hand, the top of his head in the other, and you tilt. And usually it's what they call a rest hold. And nothing happens. This was not a rest hold. Hacksaw Duggan worked more in this neck vice than Kevin Nash did in his entire Nitro run. His eyes are bugging out. He's sweating. He's looking at the crowd. He's getting them fired up. But then he starts to wear down, and he starts to go out. And the ref raises his hand once, and it drops. And he raises his hand a second time, and it drops. And he raises his hand a third time, and Hacksaw gives the big thumbs up. And I went, yes! And Hacksaw gave 2 thumbs up, and he was firing up. The place is going crazy, and Hacksaw fires up. Here's his entire comeback. He reverses a whip into the corner. He lifts Goldberg up, spins him around once or twice, and does the most dramatic body slam since Hogan and Andre at Mania. And he slams Goldberg to earth, and this is it. He's got it made. Knows he's got him where he wants him. He puts that hand to the sky. He's going to go to that corner and do the big 3-point stance. But when he turns his back, Goldberg pops up because Goldberg's a damn machine. And Hacksaw turned around, and Goldberg hits the big spear, and he hits the jackhammer, and he pins him.
Incredible.
I watched this whole match twice.
Duggan's wife
Every second.
is at ringside weeping. Goldberg starts pounding on his kidney. The referees are out there. I mean, this was the most incredible thing I ever saw. And some people at the time were like, this is so tasteless. This cancer deal. Listen to me. Okay. There's a huge difference between Roman Reigns having leukemia and going home to battle it, and people on television not knowing if he's going to live or die, using it to get heel heat. Okay?
Yeah.
That's fucking bullshit. But this guy got cancer, and he beat it.
Yes.
And he's back here, and because of the cancer, he has one kidney. That's the story here. And the heel worked on his one kidney that everybody knows about. Hacksaw did not have cancer at the time. Hacksaw survived. He's alive today.
Doing fine.
So
He's a fighter.
I did not have a problem with this.
No.
The only negative is like,
no,
there is a negative.
I will leave this room if you want to say it.
I'll say it.
I refuse to hear anything negative about this
Would you
match.
shut up and put those on, you fucking idiot? It's not even about this. Hacksaw is never going to get his revenge on Goldberg.
Well, why would he?
What the fuck are you talking about? Goldberg beat the shit out of his one kidney and left him dead and his wife crying and him loaded into a hospital.
Goldberg or Duggan's like 60.
Oh my, he's not 60 now, you geek.
Well, whatever. But
The point of this is, if he would have somehow got revenge down the road, it would have been even better. Okay, but as far as like tonight is a what do they call it?
a one night thing.
One night thing is a self-contained deal. This was a 5 fucking star segment, right?
I agree. That
the
I
whole
agree with.
show.
This was the best 3.5 minutes of Nitro this whole year.
This was so...
I mean, come on, Vinny. If you loved it that much when it was over, weren't you thinking like, fuck, only Duggan could
No.
come back and get his revenge.
No, this is a perfect tragic ending. Apollo Creed did not get revenge on Ivan Drago.
We do know that Hacksaw comes back. Like, he returns.
Like a couple weeks, yeah.
Sure.
And then, of course, the heel turn him because they're dumb.
They're absolutely moronic. But
And the more I think about this right now, what an incredibly stupid company.
yeah, they're morons.
What a testament to how to work.
No shit.
I mean, the crowd was living and dying with everything that Duggan was doing. It was
But he was
awesome.
always...
I'm going to go home and watch it again.
Here's the thing, Vinny. Here's the thing. He was the crowd always lived and died with him like this. The matches weren't always very good, but like this was Duggan. He always cut a great promo.
He was a star.
And he always got those fucking people behind every goddamn thing that he did.
It probably helped, actually. It only went 3:15.
It was just great.
I didn't need to see Goldberg and Duggan for 10 minutes.
That's fair.
But, I think of beauty. Deborah's moved to tears. Hacksaw's coughing up blood. They're bringing out a stretcher. He may be dead. Let's cut to a shot of Kevin Nash walking. And Lash LaRue being mad. So after the break, Duggan is being loaded into an ambulance. And Lash LaRue and 100 other goofs are there. And Nash says, this has got to stop. Mike Awesome versus Kevin Nash. Wasn't good. Not horrible. Awesome gets a chair, but before he can use it, Nash boots it into his face and pins him.
There's an amazing spot where I believe that Mike Awesome was going to shoot German suplex Nash, and Nash elbowed his way out of it.
That me.
Because literally he was in the air when he threw the elbow, and Awesome let go, and Nash fell down on his own ass.
That did happen, yeah.
Yeah.
Mike Awesome also body slammed him legit 3/4 of the way across the ring, and then did a big splash.
Yeah.
He flew that far.
Mike Awesome was
huge man.
Yeah, Mike Awesome he was in fact awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tigress finds Rey Mysterio Jr. laid out backstage.
Oh, no.
Buff Bagwell goes for a walk. Scott Steiner flexes. Conan goes into catering. He's searching for Lance. You punk Mark Buster.
Yes.
He said that many times.
For those of you who think, Vinny, you're making Conan sound white, that's what Conan sounded like. He said punk Mark Buster.
No, somehow you whited it up a little.
I'm sure I did.
Yeah.
I'm sure I did. But so somebody lays at Conan as well. Buff Bagwell versus Scott Steiner.
At this point, I'm going, Lance Storm is a ninja.
You know what I loved about this is, do you remember when Scott Steiner first became Big Papa Pump, and they tried to put women with him, and he was like so nervous?
Yeah.
And he was just like,
Right.
you could tell that this guy in real life was really nervous around women. And then like he figured this out, and he became Big Papa Pump, and he cuts all these promos and talks about the 69er with Scott Steiner or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
Every now and then, like during his entrance or before the bell rings, there's a moment where like he needs to move Medeja, or
Yes.
Buff was like doing something to Medeja and Steiner walked over. He is the most incredible gentleman with these women.
Yes,
sure.
When he is out of character.
Very professional.
It's hilarious, actually.
He's holding the ropes for him. He's
Yes, he's
showing him
gently
where to go.
moving her out of the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but going into this match, I would have guessed that Buff Bagwell would have lost.
Right.
And then watching him wrestle, it was abundantly clear he was going to lose. He gave 20%, maybe. He's sloppily doing everything. I'll do a neck breaker, just let go in midair. I'll do the blockbuster, not even grab the guy.
He almost killed himself on his own fucking move.
Yeah. And then Steiner hits a belly-to-belly and pins him.
I didn't think this match was that bad at all. Now, Buff, on the other hand, he
This is
wasn't
all right.
a star in the
Fine.
match, but
I've seen much worse. They shook hands afterwards. They actually had a
I keep
face-off
forgetting.
beforehand.
You'll never believe it. I keep forgetting Steiner is a babyface.
It's been like a month now.
Because it doesn't make sense.
No. So Douglas attacks Buff from behind. Actually, this is awesome. Douglas comes through the crowd. He lays out Bagwell. Steiner goes to get Douglas, and Douglas flees. And Mark Madden says, hey, that ankle's better.
Yeah, because he didn't just flee. He ran and did an Olympic vault over the top rope, landing on his feet on the ground.
Yep.
And then ran off into the crowd.
Sometimes Mark Madden is really funny, and that was one of those times. Pamela Paulshock is interviewing Jeff Jarrett.
No, she's interviewing Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett, I cannot believe that tonight you can lose the title without being pinned. He's like, yeah.
He cut the same Jarrett promo we saw 100 times on Nitro and 1,000 times in TNA. A conspiracy to knock him off the top of the mountain. Take an entire army to take this off my waist. Finally, he says, take this message to Terry or Hollywood or Hulkster. Get out of that wheelchair, get on that walker, and come to Bash to the Beach. I'll be waiting July 9th. That was a good promo there. Miss Hancock leaves David Flair's dressing room. We see Daphne watching, and then she goes into the dressing room.
Okay, so Miss Hancock comes out, and she's there to dance. I don't even know why. Daphne hits the ring to attack her, and Daphne gets her ass kicked.
Correct.
It's like every idiot babyface there ever is. Hancock beats the shit out of her and leaves. And then Daphne cuts a promo, and she couldn't... I mean, as if she wasn't enough of a geek by starting the fight and getting her ass kicked against a heel. She then explains that Miss Hancock is trying to steal her fiancé. They're still engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's been abundantly clear for weeks that he is fucking Miss Hancock.
Yeah.
She's not trying.
She has
She's
not
success.
broken up with him. She has not called off the engagement.
No.
She instead vows, I will ruin your life and send you back to Hooters
Yeah.
in an evening gown match.
Yes.
I'm so mad.
Well,
I'm going to take your clothes
wedding
off.
dress.
she just said that she's going to
Whatever.
kick your ass. The dress stipulation got added later.
Okay, this is dumb.
You're right. She came off dumb. The animals, who have all had their asses kicked now, they regroup. Glenn, they're calling him, as the only one who's escaped a beating. He has a plan. Glenn goes to put his plan into action. We go back to the book signing where Booker... for all of this, the payoff is Booker T beats up Keenan and puts him through a table.
Yep.
So here is where Pamela Paulshaw's cleavage interviews Miss Hancock.
Right.
Hancock says this should not be a difficult decision for David, challenges Daphne to a wedding gown match at Bash of the Beach.
She vows to wear something, quote, much more sexier.
Right.
She did say that.
She's supposed to be like a teacher or something, right?
Not English.
No, she's
Clearly not an English, like
secretary.
a math teacher.
She's a secretary.
Much more sexier. She
Disco
must have
comes
a
out.
real idiot boss that she's been transcribing.
That's entirely possible.
Yeah.
Disco comes out and challenges Lance Storm, and out comes Lance Storm in his WCW debut. His first match, they gave him Disco Inferno.
Dude, it was fine. It
was fine.
It was a pretty good match.
I'm sure there's lots of guys in the roster you'd rather have.
Yeah, but what the hell? Disco Inferno at the point was a name.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than like a Chuck Palumbo or some dingbat.
That actually is a great point.
They had
It must
a
have been Chuck
pretty good
Palumbo.
match, and Lance got the rolling crab submission. I thought it was good.
It worked. The animals attack.
They did botch something.
There was
Yes,
a
they
point.
did.
Something
And
got,
usually I can figure out what it is, but this time I could not figure out what it is. Hopefully Lance
was-
remembers.
I'm going to blame Disco just because the other one's
That's a
Lance.
very safe bet. There was a point because they Lance Disco went for a backdrop, and Lance was like supposed to go behind him or something, and Disco fell on his ass, and then
yeah.
they both tried to save it, and as they tried to save it, each save got worse and worse. So then they just did the whole thing again. So the animals swarm Lance when who should make the save but Billy Kidman with a pipe.
Kidman's a babyface again?
Okay, as I recall.
What?
As I recall, so it was Kidman versus Hogan with Horace as ref.
Sure.
Horace screwed Kidman. So Horace is a good guy. But then the next night, Kidman on Nitro turned on somebody in the New Blood. So Kidman's been a good guy since then. He just hasn't been seen.
Okay.
Don't
It's
you
dumb.
remember?
It is. It sure is.
Just
I
check.
guess you're supposed to feel sympathetic for him because Horace ended up with his girl, which kind of makes him a geek.
I don't know who ended up with his girl. She's gone.
She's just gone.
Yeah,
They
she's
couldn't figure out what to
vanished.
do with her, so she's just there and not being used.
Okay.
That's unfortunate. for
They
everybody.
can't figure out what to do with Tori Wilson.
I could think of two things right now.
That's a very talented group of producers they got. So anyway, Kidman cleans house with a pipe, and he was the one laying dudes out backstage, and that's that. Dale goes to the downstairs area.
I didn't watch or care about any of this. I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
I wrote Dale Torborg just because I love writing it down.
It is a great
and after
name.
that, I gave up.
Dale Torborg is an all-time great horrible name.
It's a real name.
I know. And I say that, by the way, as someone named Vincent Verhey. I know about having a real horrible name.
Okay.
I mean, Grobrot, is it spelled backwards? That's worse.
Sounds like a Tolkien goblin.
I mean, that actually would be pretty good for like a heel.
Yeah.
Like a monster
It's a
heel.
good slimy name, Grobrot.
Lars Sullivan could have been Grobrot.
Sullivan would have been perfect Grobrot. All right, so here's what
So
you...
Dale Torborg is worse.
Here's what
We
you
can
missed,
agree.
Brian. It's Dale Torborg versus Vampiro apparently having a coffin match in the block.
I do remember they were fighting backstage, and suddenly there was a fucking coffin there that someone filled.
There's a random coffin there, which Dale Torborg is super kicked into. And Vampiro, I guess it's a casket match in the block, but Vampiro does not slam the casket.
block is still a thing.
It is here. That's where they were.
Okay. All right. Did they say the block?
No.
Okay.
But
I think
that's-
that's not a thing anymore.
But what is it?
I don't know.
Is it a boiler room?
It's
Backstage
just backstage.
So
In the bowels of the building.
Vampiro is, I guess, celebrating his win. I'm not even sure what he's doing, but he's
won?
I guess. I don't know.
I don't think this was a match. But
He's
okay.
gloating over Dale Torborg in the coffin. When out comes Sting, who has now become Luke Skywalker at the start of Return of the Jedi.
Are we sure this is Sting? I don't think it was Sting.
Okay, was this the guy that Vampiro was talking to the Emperor?
Oh, who the fuck knows?
I forgot about that.
There's a guy in a black cloak
There's a reason you forgot.
with a Sting mask on. And my thought was, it's Skywalker showing up to Jabba's palace, all dressed in black now. He's now a Jedi. So maybe Sting is a Jedi now.
I think it was a fake Sting.
Or maybe a fake
I know
Sting.
it was a fake Sting,
Okay.
but I don't know if it was supposed to be a fake Sting.
I see.
You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe Sting
Yeah.
really wasn't there.
No,
Get some guy that looks like Sting. He's not here.
Sure.
Put him in a fucking robe.
Where's fake Sting? New Japan. Oh, damn. So whoever this Sting guy was...
I actually think it was Chris Harris.
Really?
What?
Can you believe that?
Actually,
Yep.
I can. Yes.
Yep.
I totally can. Harris Sting lays out Vampiro and leaves the Sting mask on him.
Mm-hmm.
So Pamela Paulshock is interviewing the Filthy Animals. She says, I think it's Billy Kidman that's been attacking you all night. And Conan turns and looks at her, starts making Murder, She Wrote jokes, calls her Grace repeatedly, which I guess is Angela Lansbury's name, Murder, She Wrote, I don't know. And he challenges Kidman and Lance to a match at Bash at the Beach. You get Jeff Jarrett versus Kevin Nash versus Scott Steiner versus Goldberg. The announcers wish the best wishes to Ric Flair and his family on the death of Flair's father.
Oh, my God. So, Flair's father died 19 years ago this week. Now, if I recall correctly, Flair was adopted. He has no idea who his birth parents are.
Yes.
I shouldn't say real parents, birth parents.
Yeah.
So these are his adopted parents.
Yes.
Okay, now I bring this up for a reason. Like, let's say, Vinny, that your dad passed away at 65 of a heart attack.
Okay.
Okay? And your
We're getting very dark
grandfather
here.
and your grandfather passed away at 65 of a heart attack, right?
Yeah.
So you're thinking, well, these men pass away at 65 of heart attacks.
I'm going to change my ways.
Do you know how Ric Flair's father, who was not his birth father, passed away?
Was it a heart attack?
He had a bowel issue.
Oh, my.
He got surgery. There were complications, and he died.
That sucks.
No, do you know how Flair almost died 2 years ago?
Yes.
Did
He
have
had a
issue?
bowel problem.
Oh.
He had surgery. He had complications.
And he
the
almost
doctors
died.
gave him basically a 4% chance of survival, and he did survive.
All true.
Huh.
Isn't that
That's macabre.
astonishing?
That is batshit crazy.
It is crazy. I totally forgot that till I was looking through the Observer, and it talked about the death of Flair's dad. And when it explained how his dad died, I almost fell out of my chair. That's the craziest thing.
So,
Literally the exact same thing.
yeah.
It's crazy.
So before the match, Goldberg lays out Nash backstage. So it's now a handicap match, effectively, with Jarrett and Steiner versus... No, Jarrett and Goldberg
This
versus
is a way
Steiner,
to get Nash out of the match because he didn't want to work, let's be honest.
basically. All I know about this
Good.
match, and all I care about this match, is that at one point, Bill Goldberg grabbed Scott Steiner and pressed him over his head.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. They have a great
What?
match coming up later this year. A really great match. I know you're shocked. Scott Steiner and Goldberg.
He's real strong.
Hey, listen, I don't want to have to put over Nash too much, but let me tell you something.
Then don't.
When Nash finally ran down at the end,
The conquering hero.
and
Nash.
first off, he goes after Mike Awesome, who interfered, and Shat had said there will be no interference in these matches, but like we're supposed to forget that. He runs down to the ring, and he boots Goldberg in the stomach, and he goes for his stupid power bomb. This fucking crowd went crazy. Now, part of the reason they went crazy is because Nash is playing the role of a surrogate Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He's fighting for Duggan. So when he went down there and got his hands on Goldberg, it may have been the biggest pop of the entire evening. They went fucking crazy for that. And then he got cut off, goes to powerbomb Jarrett. Goldberg super kicks Jarrett, right? Or no? Nash.
Nash.
And Jarrett pins Nash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And trash fills the ring.
So the story is Goldberg only wanted to beat up Nash and did not care at all about the World Heavyweight Championship.
Right.
That's what you would think. That's dumb.
And so the crowd's pelting the ring with garbage, as I was pelting my iPad with garbage, and what garbage this fucking company is. And then, Goldberg had a contract that he'd apparently eaten and regurgitated.
That is the best we can tell.
Yeah.
And I still don't know what possession of the physical contract gets you. Does that mean Hall gets back? Does that mean he's free to leave?
I don't know. Like if
you
it gets eaten.
If you have the paper in your possession, apparently all legal is out the window, and you just get the contract.
Honest to God, we need to find out what happens if that contract gets eaten. Because, like, if he's free, there's going to be a whole roster of WWE stars eating their contracts over the next couple of days.
So, I want to talk a little more about the finish here. Kevin Nash runs down, or as Tony Schiavone screams with glee, Kevin Nash wobbles down finally. Nash hits the ring. He hits a choke slam, which Scott Hudson calls a Nodawa choke slam, which inspired me to look up Nodawa choke slam. So it's I guess it's what Akira Tao called it. I'm probably saying his name wrong too. But the Google suggested questions: how do you choke slam someone? Who was 911 in ECW? And my favorite, did Abraham Lincoln invent the choke slam?
Well,
What?
Did he?
Click.
Yeah. Granny, send this link to Granny. I want her report.
There you go.
The choke slam was innovated by Paul Heyman for use by the wrestler 911, though one of the earliest accounts of the move dates back to a 19th century recounting that describes Abraham Lincoln, himself a wrestler in his youth, using a technique very similar in description. That is from the Wikipedia article, Choke Slam.
Wow.
Huh.
I'll be darned.
You learn something new every day.
Guess so.
That's not necessarily true.
They may not be true. So Jarrett wins, Trash fills the ring, and Goldberg taunts Hall with a contract, which is important to have for some reason. Brian, music, please.
Would you like your music, Vinny?
If you're ready. If you're not busy.
I ask these damn questions, not you. Look up choke slams.
The finishes on this show were clean pin, pin in an unofficial 3-on-1 handicap match, pin after weapon shot, clean pin in an amazing fight, a pin after a weapon shot backfires, a clean pin, a clean submission, knockout by a third party in what I guess was an unofficial casket match in the back, and then clean pin, I guess, in a 4-way.
Honestly, the Abe Lincoln article, I mean, forget what's in the article. I mean, just the fact that the title of the article is Abraham Lincoln, Amazing Wrestler.
Okay.
I mean, this should be a Hall of Fame article in any wrestling journal that there is.
You know, the other day you guys got to tell a couple stories about going to the pay-per-view. Can I help? Can I share one real quick?
No.
No.
Now, I gotta say one thing, though.
Okay.
You doubted me. You claimed that Brent tried to get in with a turkey sandwich.
Yeah.
Okay, I got this straight from Brent. It was a full turkey leg.
Okay. Let me one up you
He's
because
dying over there.
the guys that I came with were behind Brent, saw him get thrown out of line, and said, "You can't bring this sandwich in."
Well, that guy was wrong.
I'm
It's
telling
just a turkey leg.
my friends don't know the difference between a turkey leg and a sandwich.
Well, the guy eating the goddamn turkey leg told me it was
Hold
a
on.
turkey leg.
Between my friends and Brent Kremen, you're going to believe him.
Maybe he had a turkey leg and a sandwich.
Whatever, Brent.
Anyway, what's your story?
Okay, so everybody heard about the debacle about our seating situation. Sean texted me early, Sean Garrett, early in the show and said, "Hey, I got an extra seat here. If you want to come get it." I finally texted him because I had had enough of seeing the back of people's heads. "How many seats do you have around you?" He said 5. You and I had a quick discussion. I took my people. We went and sat by Sean 5 rows back. There was a guy at the end of the row. He had been drinking since noon. He was belligerent. He was loud. He was stumbling. He was spilling beers. He was cursing. He was angry. At one point, I actually asked him, "Hey, man, my wife and my son are here. Going to watch the language a little bit." He tried really hard for 30, 40 seconds.
He thought this might be successful.
You got to do what you got to do. So he's halfway into the aisle. And as you know, all the production was on that side that we were on. Actually,
Yeah.
you probably didn't know that.
I
We're
didn't
on the
know
same
that.
side as you, actually.
I said we're right by production.
So the crane with the wheels, you know, the rolling crane is rolling down our aisle, and this guy is standing in the aisle. And so the guy that's helping with the crane is like, "Sir, you're going to have to move. Sir. The guy turns and looks at him, he goes, "F you." Continues to watch the show. "Sir, you're going to get run over. You need to move." Here comes the crane, still shooting. The crane helper pushes the guy into the aisle. Pushes him into the aisle so he does not get run over.
Just ran his ass over.
Yeah.
He would have crushed him. Rob needs to say something, Brian.
Yes, Rob.
I was going to say, I actually saw this happen. Because I was turning around and I saw the big crane going, and this guy just pushed a guy. It was a big guy with curly hair, right?
Yes.
Close to the mic, Rob.
Sorry.
So, anyway.
Someday I'll learn.
He jumped in and he stopped talking.
Anyway, this guy starts having words with the guy that honestly saved his ankles and feet and whatever. And he's just cussing him up a blue streak. The crane goes back the other way. About 3-4 minutes pass. Here come the boys in blue. They say, "Sir, can you come with us?" He starts mouthing off again. Curse words are flying. Now his family stands up. They start walking. There's cursing. He's throwing his hands up. He's throwing his beer. Now the cops have him on the ground with their foot in the back of his neck. They're cuffing and stuffing him, and
Is that a term?
yes, it is.
Cuffing and stuffing?
Yeah, and his family has now sobered up immediately. They were escorted. Here's the funny part: when everything got done, the pay-per-view was over. I went over and I took his chair out of the building. It's sitting in my living room.
Wow.
So you're a thief.
How dare you?
You should be cuffed and stuffed.
Yeah.
Same one that Brian stole.
I didn't steal
Same
when
one
I was sitting in that damn thing. I had a ticket.
So was
for it.
I.
I had an actual ticket for that
Well,
seat.
I didn't take the one I was in. I took his instead.
Yeah, I had a ticket for that seat.
Sure you didn't.
No, I did. I got it in my goddamn pocket right now.
You haven't changed your pants since Sunday?
Well, you know. There's right there. Floor 7.
Okay.
D13.
All right.
I had a ticket for that.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else?
Well, Sean had a ticket for that.
All right. All right. Any other Stong stories, tales?
Stong.
Anything else? All right. Anything else, Rob?
I got nothing.
Okay. All right. We're going to wrap it up, everybody. Tomorrow I'll be back with Filthy and not Observer Live. Mike's on his own. I'll be at the dentist. So I'm sure I'll be all excited when I get back home to that Filthy show. And then Observer Radio.
Might be a good one.
A lot of other great stuff.
How is it going, everybody?
And that's it. We'll talk to you fuckers again after a while.
Good night.
Bye.